everybody. This is Linda G, and today is my special guest, Sibyl Harmony. And I met Sibyl, I think through email. You contacted me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so she's a reader, and I was interested in her story. Oh my God, you guys, she's good. So I want to kind of give you an intro, and also, because I retired from reading, it's good to know who's out there. So we'll include her information, how to reach her below when I get done with this video, or you can even say it out loud if you want. But, oh, she was just telling me a great story. I said, let's get this on tape. Tell us how you began.
Yeah, I have a channel too, a YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, that's right. She just started a YouTube channel.
And I love.
What's the YouTube channel? What's the name?
Oh, it's just Sibyl Harmony. Okay. I think my name is down in the corner. How'd that get there? Did you put that there?
No, you put that there.
Oh, okay. I'm not a technology. I'm like a healer person. I'm not a technology person.
Me neither.
But yeah, I've been watching your videos for years, and it's just amazing the service that you're doing and providing for people. I really honored and respected that. And my teachers taught me, I had saw spirits when I was a child and received messages, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But my teachers taught me, well, you never bring up politics because you want to help everyone. And I still do help anyone who asks. I'm here. I am of service.
Right.
And that's my mission, and that's your mission. So I understand.
Right.
But then when I started seeing what was going on, I'm like, oh my God. And then when the war in Ukraine happened, I'm like, that's it. But I really respect and admire, and I would listen to your videos because those 4 years with 45, I was like, oh my God.
That's the only reason I did it, because
it was horrific.
You'll have to calm them down.
Like I couldn't sleep. Like when he was elected, I cried for 24 hours. And then my guide said, he'll be impeached. And I was like, oh, now they didn't tell me how many times he'd be impeached. But we just got that far. So I was like, it gave me some relief. And then I would watch you, and then I would go, okay, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to, America will.
America's going to survive.
Yeah. And so, people have done, like Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus, they've done political predictions. It's always, it's always been done. It's just, I guess, in the 80s, they said, well, don't do that. But anyway, so
what's your reading? What type of readings do you do?
Oh, I do psychic, mediumship, and healing.
Good.
Basically, I just have this healing thing that happens after spending time in different places around the world. It just kind of like happens. And so my guides do it. And but I started working with people and helping people, and then their deceased relatives would show up. So I started doing mediumship as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I always felt like I wanted to help people, and I didn't know and love children the way I didn't feel I was loved, and make the world a better place, but I didn't know how. And as a small child, I would see the nature spirits.
Oh, I love it.
Kind of I would be like, the minute I got home from school, my shoes were off and I was outside till it was dark.
Wow.
And, I would sing and dance and run around, and I just was really connected. And I still now, I walk up in these hills and I get messages around where I live from the nature spirits. The animals always come to me, or I've learned symbology, like certain trees or flowers have an energy or a message, or animals will come around me either physically or in my mind's eye, or I'll see a nature spirit. And I actually wrote a book on some of the stories and some of the healing techniques that I use. White Rainbows. There's my book.
There you go, girlfriend.
Yeah. And
Who published it for you, or did you sell it?
It's on Amazon for sale. I believe it was Small Books Publishing. And yeah, I can leave that in the notes below on my YouTube.
Okay.
Sonoma County, Sonoma Healing Press published it.
Okay.
You're in Sonoma.
Yeah. Maybe I'll present my book to them.
Yeah, I like Catherine Vandekamp. I can give you her info. She was good. I wanted like a 500 volume volumes 1, 2, and 3 of everything you'll ever want to know about healing and developing your psychic gifts. But they said that's too long, and we're just going to start your first book with 300 pages. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's good news. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll check her out.
Okay.
Later, send me her info.
Okay. So then I was outside about 7 years old, and I was playing, and the sun talked to me. And later on, I found out that the Sibyls were in the temples, some of the temples with the sun god, who was Apollo. I have Native American background that was covered up. I also have relatives that came over on the Mayflower that really didn't want that out. So they covered up all the Cherokee background. But I feel like that's some of my connection.
Yes.
But I also felt connected to from past lives. And I saw past lives where I was in these temples working as a reader. And so the sun talked to me and said, and now I believe this was the sun god. What it said was, you're not alone. That's a good message for a little kid. You're about 7, they're not going to give you a big long dissertation. A lot of times they don't. They usually just say a couple words to me, but it's right on track. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway, so the sun said, you're not alone. And I was like, okay. And I got lots of other messages, like just mostly singing and laughing. And I still hear songs and get messages and songs. And because the nature spirits are very playful. There's a lot of Native American spirits around here, the trees. They're very beautiful. They're more serious because they're upset about the environment and stuff. But and they've been there. But they're different from the other ones. But and a lot of in Ireland, if you tell them about the wee people are like, yeah, we get that.
Yeah, it's very very matter of fact.
Yeah, and then but in the Native Americans, they know about the stone people, the crystal people, the tree people. They know the animal totems have spirit guides. But I found that for years when I would mention that to people would be like, you sure, honey?
Yeah, well, even when my mother was very psychic, but she didn't really talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have an Irish background.
I have Irish from my grandmother.
Or Scottish. I love Scottish.
I can trace my grandmother's lineage all the way back to King David of Scotland and William the Lion.
Wow.
All the way back.
I might have known you that. I love Scotland. I just feel like I just love it there for some reason.
I loved Ireland.
Scotland, okay, Ireland, yeah.
I liked, but I loved Ireland.
Really? Yeah. Really? Good past lives there.
Yeah. So listen, I want to intro you so people will know who you are. And please go subscribe. I'll have her YouTube link on here. But give us a little bit. You said you are dabbling a little bit in politics as far as some prophecy.
I just wanted to say one more thing, if I could, about my history. I've studied in a lot of places around the world with different healers and shamans, and this is pertinent to what's going on now, because I saw things like that you wouldn't think could happen, like people, a guy levitating or putting your hand through something like a solid wall. I'm like, that can't happen. You would be bleeding it. No. And so even some of the students I was with, I'm like, did you see that? Because I was like, wow, how did they do that? It's because they have faith.
That's it.
There were mix of shamans and Catholic spirituality in some of these places. And so that faith, I bring it to my practice, and it also helps me deal with all this stuff that's going on, because we have to have faith that we can do this, we can win, we can save.
And there's a reason too, because vibrationally, this has brought us the good higher. Because remember when my guide said all of a sudden out of the blue, get off the Trump train. We can't keep focusing in on him, because what it does, it puts our energy down. It doesn't hurt him, it hurts us. So that's why we have to move forward. Because because they always talk about being present, like Eckhart Tolle. Just breathe and be with us, like in the realm. But
Yeah.
also I said, well, if I'm only supposed to breathe and be with you, why do you give me the gift of prophecy? What's that for? You know, people want to know when I do personal readings, you know, maybe a certain outcome. And they said, because it gives them faith.
Yeah. Oh,
If
okay.
I say something, I
Wow.
told everybody, don't worry, Trump is going to lose. And
Wow.
so
Yeah.
many people were just like, oh my God, so-and-so says he's going to win. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And I said, just know people will be dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. You're right. You did. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the faith. That's the only
Yes. The
reason I
faith.
got a little bit more popular, which I
Wow.
appreciated. But that's the purpose, is just to get people out of their own way and be in the realm and know that you can make the magic happen.
Yes, because that's what the lower energy wants you to do. It wants to drag you down and get you angry and get you in a fight and get you on their level. And then you've lost yourself. So we
Yeah.
have to take the higher road. I love it that you said that we have to get off the Trump train, because that's what it wants you to do. That's what he wants you to do, or whatever he's channeling is, just everybody.
Now, one of the visions I had when the Roe versus Wade happened, and I went to feel that upset, you know, because it was terrible. And they said to me, they just handed the midterms to the Democrats.
Wow. Yeah.
And I thought, you know, you're right, because I saw people like ants. And you know, ants will build their own bridges to get to where they're going. They will move forward and they're focused.
Right.
And so it's almost like, even though all these people, these professionals are saying, well, you know, this and that, but they're not talking to the young people. You should have seen the line of people registering to vote in Georgia at the universities.
Wow.
There is a mass amount of ants coming out. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and I were talking about Beto, and you saw wonderful things for him.
Yeah. Well, for entertainment, these are my thoughts and
Yeah.
impressions for
And for
entertainment purposes only.
only.
And if I was always right, I'd say to my people, I'd say, you'd have to wonder who I was. No, no, but anyway, but I saw Beto this morning. I saw him really happy, and he was getting in like a little sports car, and he had not like the MAGA hats, he had like a blue hat on, and he was driving on the right side, like a different country the car would be.
Yeah.
And there was somebody, so getting in the car is being physically there, and he's happy. So I could see he won, but there was somebody in the seat next to him. And it looked like President Biden to me. It feels like he's going to be working with Biden, and he's going to be doing something international. I actually see Abraham Lincoln around him, that energy.
Wow.
So I was thinking, well, we better be careful, but I feel like he has a really bright future.
Awesome.
I feel like he's going to do so much. He has such an amazing light, such an amazing spirit. So I feel really good about him. I feel like it's hard. He's had to work his patoots off in there, you know.
Well, I've seen the Republicans jumping off the Trump ship.
Okay.
I saw that in a vision a while ago. And so now I'm kind of wondering, especially after talking to Andre, my astrology alert guy, he's showing Biden looking so good in November of this year on through 2023. Fantastic. And he saw Trump and even Putin going straight downhill.
Yep.
So it makes me think that, as my guides had said, they'll come through like ants. I think we're going to win both houses.
Yeah. And you know, I do too. I see a percentage. Now, there's a couple races where I'm like, I cannot, they feel like they might contest him, or they might have to be a recount.
Okay.
But I do feel that we get the majority in both.
Me too.
I do.
They were so that's why I can't even watch the news, because they're going to come up with those polls that are very limited polls. They were wrong about Hillary.
Yeah.
And remember when Trump was going door to door practically in every city in 2018, you have to vote for me or they'll impeach me. And it was a blowout. It was a blowout. And listen, that McCarthy, he's up there all smirky. he really thinks they're going to win because of the way the tradition goes. But things are changing. Part of it was
Yeah.
Roe versus
Yeah,
Wade.
things are, yeah. And you know, when you said that he would someday be found an illegitimate president, I saw that on your video.
Entertainment purposes
Because
only.
I keep seeing Trump going downhill. I don't even want to say his name. 45, let's say 45. Cancel that. Just the energy of his name is so nasty. But when you said that, I was like, wait, what? Really? That seems a little extreme. Are they gonna?
That was back 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know. And you were saying that, and I was like, okay,
Mark my
how is
words.
that gonna happen? And then
And guess who else said it? Jimmy Carter.
Oh, okay. And then I've been looking at him, and it just it's over. It's done. I even had one of my people who watch my videos say that she saw 45 floating in the clouds like he was dead. We don't never want to wish anybody
No, you don't want to
harm on, especially harm.
But this is
not physical, not a physical death, but metaphorically, like his career.
When this loss happens, because even like somebody like Marjorie Taylor and some other people who are so sure they're going to get in when they don't, I just see some shock. Okay, some shock and awe. When the people who were so pro 45 don't win, and he was very upset, by the way, back in 20, they said that was the worst mood he ever was in. Finally, they're going to start to wake up and realize, you know what? Let's get off this train. Let's jump this train, because it's not creating them. They're going to have to the Republicans will have to reinvent themselves. I do not see the Republicans dying I don't, but I see coming sane again, being more healthy, more, because you should have seen what they've given for their list of what they want to do for our country to get us out of this deficit. They want to cut Social Security. They don't, if you're up till 75, if you're a veteran, they don't want you to have it. If you have a good 401, or if you have a 401k, most people do, but usually it's Social Security that helps offset. They want to cut Medicaid until 75, but then stop it totally when you're 90. And they think the American people are going to jump on the train and say, oh yeah, by all means. Meantime, they got fat pension, fat this, fat that. And
their big thing is, well, we can't afford that. We can't afford 45 made a bigger deficit than anybody, spending on, I don't even know what.
And the one who's in charge of this is Marco Rubio. And there he is in a geriatric state.
Okay. Well, I feel like he's going to try to say recount or do something down there.
I saw Bill Demings winning a while ago.
I see her winning too, but I feel like he's like, let's do a lawsuit, or let's move. Yeah, I feel like he's going to try to. They're going to try, because they're not just going to go, oh, okay, I guess I lost.
Everything's a fraud, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I was wondering what you see about that, because
I see that and also he voted against help for that hurricane. He voted against his own state.
Oh my God.
And so, listen, word's out. Word is out. And I see Val Demings winning. She might not win by a landslide.
Yeah, I see her. Yeah. Do we? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see her winning. I saw her winning. I saw her up on stage, happy. Okay. And everybody going, yeah. And then he comes up and he goes, wait a minute, I owe these papers because we have to.
She's still going to win.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's going to be such a hit to the Republicans. They have to go back to the drawing board and realize they got to get off the Trump train, because it's not helping them any.
Yeah, I heard there was only 27 people at one of his rallies
in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. And you got to think, for entertainment purposes only, if you still think you're president, or your people still think you're president, then you think maybe you should have the top secret documents. I think he got rid of them and sold them and gave them away and used them a lot years ago.
Oh, well,
I think he's been doing that the whole time.
He negotiated with the people who keep these records and said, give me anything you have on me with Russia, on my people looking at me in Russia, and I'll give you them all back. So he was trying to blackmail them. Yeah.
So they keep asking, well, where are they? Give them back. He doesn't even have them to give back.
Most of them.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Some of them are gone.
The sad thing is, as soon as he goes to a town, you see advertisements for actors to come to an event. So he pays people to be there.
Oh my God. That's, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
any other flashes you got? Are you feeling good about the Ukraine?
I saw that Ukraine, when it first happened,
Oh, I
when,
was so
when
upset.
I knew it was going to happen, I just started sobbing. I went on, made this video. People like, oh, you're so emotional. That energy is so intense. And then I made the mistake. Don't anybody do this if you have abilities. You should send an an angel or a guide or your guide or ascended master over there. Because I went over there in dream time and not much scares me. I worked with a lot of spirits. I'm not easily scared. I went over there and that scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh my God, are those things going to follow me back? And all these souls followed me back. And then I made this video. The next morning I felt like horrible, but I made a video anyway. And they're all these deceased people from Ukraine. And so I crossed them over. There was 83 of them. I'm like, oh my God. That I mean, like I can
Oh,
usually
yeah.
cross over one or
So
two
sad.
people a day, but
Yeah.
83, that almost killed me. I'm like,
Oh,
it's
I'll have to look at
dangerous.
that video. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called The Beloved Souls of Ukraine. And you can see after about 6 minutes, there's all these orbs floating around. I'm like, does anyone see the orbs? After I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God. And then I did a ceremony to cross them over. But that energy with Potato Head, I'm glad you used that name, was so dark. I've never seen such darkness. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't. But
I'm not seeing him
the
lasting much
Ukrainian,
longer.
what?
I don't see him lasting much longer.
Yeah, the Ukrainian people are so brave and they're so amazing. And I just feel like in my house here, it's 120 years old. During World War II, this house was empty because everybody either went over to Europe or down to the bomb factories in San Francisco to help with the war effort. And so this house was empty. And now, and they're very patriotic and help to save their country. And so I feel like I better get on there. When the war happened, I saw you got on and did a video. I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. I got on there and
I
did
got
my
so
video.
panicked. I had to say I saw
Yeah,
it was gonna
I couldn't sleep. I was vibrating. I was crying.
Oh,
I
it
was
was
like,
so
oh my
hot.
God,
My
this is
stomach
going to
was-
happen. But then I said, you know what? They're going to win. They're going to win. Ukraine is going to win. And so I felt like it was my patriotic duty because they're fighting over there with guns. We're fighting with disinformation and political. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
We're fighting the same energy.
Oh, did you hear about that concert guy, the guy that refused to play for Putin? Putin wanted to have a concert, and he was one of the highest people. I don't know what if he was concerto or what, and they killed him.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did they kill him?
They killed him
Oh my God.
because he refused to play for Putin.
Yeah, I remember Revealing Light Tarot was saying.
Oh, I remember that.
She said her friend was a reporter, and for his birthday, Potato Head wanted to shoot her. So they had her go up to give him an interview, and he shot her in the head.
Right there, just kill.
Happy for his birthday. That's what he wanted to do.
Oh my God.
Kill a reporter.
Well, listen, girlfriend, unfortunately I got back.
Entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purpose.
Yeah.
But you are so much fun.
Oh, I love this.
So let's do this again.
Please, yo, I'd love it.
And especially as we get, I want people to be able to calm down, and I think you're going to be able to help.
Well, it's because you were the what do you call the first person who goes first? The leader,
right.
There's all these women our age who are doing this, who are really holding the country up, and we're like.
But I can even be on your channel if you would prefer.
Oh, that I would love that.
Let's set it up for next week. I'll call you. I'm going to be on with a lovely lady right now named Santa Rose. Do you know who she is?
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, I think I've seen her.
Her and I are doing, and I did Mel earlier. So, girl, I'm booking.
I'll have to watch. Oh, I love Mel. I watched Mel. I watched Sterling. The whole crowd. Okay.
You're in with the in crowd, girlfriend.
All right.
All right. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you, and thank you.